Hey you, you're super. Good afternoon, YouTube. Merch Hunter Ricky back, and I thought of 3 more devil fruits for my series before I take a little bit of a break from it and start talking about manga again. So first, I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers I've gotten recently through my plug that I put on Parvision's channel. I really appreciate that, Parvision. You're the man. And you new subscribers who came from there, you guys rule. Now, so what we have on the menu today are going to be the absorb fruit. That's why Gambit's in the thumbnail. We're going to have the mythical Zoan type model Manticore. I genuinely don't know if it should be under the cat fruit model or the human fruit, since it's a little bit of both. And then I want to do something kind of different and do a paramecia type that involves the ability to control armor at will. So this would be the armor fruit. Okay, so this first devil fruit was suggested to me by a commenter named Gabriel Morel, so thanks, man. Here's the fruit that you suggested. So we're going to talk about the absorb fruit, which he suggested be a fruit that could absorb energies like kinetic energy, for example, and send it back out like a blast. The first thing I thought of was Gambit. I've played a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 as a kid. I still have my copy today. It's just one of the best games of all time. So, to be an absorption man, you would be classified in the paramecia type, right? You would be able to, I would assume, from as I stated in my last devil fruit video, you gotta have limitations. You gotta have activation requirements, and you gotta have, I guess you could say, the way the devil fruit functions and the way the devil fruit gets weaker. So, to start absorbing, it has to be one of your hands or one of your limbs in general. So let's say your left hand absorbs, your right hand outputs. To be effective with this, obviously you might need a little bit of, hockey, or a little bit of the 6 powers, or both. That being said, let's start with basic energy absorption. So in One Piece, there's not too many things that shoot energy blasts except the pacifistas, Frankie, and Kizaru. Other than that, for example, I don't think you would be able to absorb the flames of the flame fruit, Marco's fruit. That might be a little bit too much on your body. You could definitely start to absorb it, but it has to go somewhere. You know what I mean? And since energy itself, if you were an absorption man, right, and you're absorbing straight up flames into your body, does your body automatically just keep it like a furnace, or would it keep it like a lantern, or would you just have a belly full of fire and it's just burning you up on the inside? I could see energy as an easier source to absorb. However, it might not be useful in the One Piece world. But if you start trying to do things like maybe you can just take a hit to the hand, kind of like how Crocodile would do it, someone punches your hand really hard and you absorb all the kinetic energy from the hand punch and it has no bearing on you, right? Then you can go ahead with your other hand and release it or shoot it out, Palm Blast style, however, what have you. This would be a very hard fruit to navigate given the confines of how fruits work in One Piece. Moreover, like I said, you have a very limited amount of enemies coming at you that actually shoot energy for a weapon source in One Piece. Now, there is one way you could cheat this. If you had the ability to have a pacifista on your side, or a Frankie on your side, or a Kizaru on your side, and you're absorbing their energy blasts. And I know I'm using the example of the glint fruit, I think, the glint fruit. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't make this fruit work. I'm just saying it would be very hard. This would be like trying to fight an uphill battle and all you have is the clone fruit, It's one of those activation requirement fruits that has a very specific niche. And moreover, it has a niche that you're not going to need it all the time. However, if let's say we go the other way with the fruit. You can absorb people's punches, impacts, piercing attacks, but you take a little bit of damage at the same time. but you can go ahead and output that same amount. Now, that devil fruit technically already exists the way I'm describing it, which would be Uroge's fruit. Mad Monk Uroge. He has the ability to take damage, any amount of damage dealt, kind of like, who's the guy from My Hero? I forget his name. He's the dude who has, like, the stress power. He was, like, the leader of the Liberation Front. I'll edit the name in here. That guy was able to take in an amount of stress, which I guess you could say also counts as getting beat up, getting beat up. That guy could take a crazy amount of damage and turn into like a Hulk form, and a lot of good that did him, but oh well, neither here nor there. So, two ways you can take this fruit down. The first path, which is just basic energy absorption, which, I mean, in a way, you could say fire, lightning, light itself, maybe even the impact from Fujitora's gravity fruit, the impact from Green Bull Aramaki just shooting his logs at you or something like that. You might be able to just stop them dead in their tracks and absorb the impact, absorb the energy released from them. And then you just output it with your other hand. Now, for Awakening, I don't necessarily know what you could do other than maybe like suck the basic electricity out of things, because in One Piece there are light bulbs and fridges. I've noticed, they have like basic electric items, so you might be able to suck it out of that, or like maybe suck the fire out of a lantern. You might even be able to just straight up be like a total absorption man. This is something that like Crocodile does. He absorbs the wetness out of people, like the moisture, and you might be able to go around and start doing that kind of stuff too, with a stronger type of absorption. I don't really know how far you could push that within the confines of One Piece, because remember, it's like kind of like a system of checks and balances with your devil fruit. Even broken devil fruits have checks and balances. So that being said, I think this is a really good idea. It's just there's so many things to absorb, especially like, for example, take Gambit. He pretty much creates his kinetic energy and blasts it, and he can create an unlimited amount of it. He's basically like the perfect example of a paramecia user in another show, fandom, whatever have you. If you were to be like a kinetic man, that might be different. That wouldn't be exactly absorption, but I still like the idea, and it's a good idea worth bouncing around. If you think I got this idea right, let me know in the comments. I think I kind of fumbled around a little bit. It was not easy to think of because, like I said, when you absorb things, does it let you just automatically keep it in your body for a set amount of time and shoot it out? Or simply absorbing it is the power, and however it stays in you, it could hurt you. Because I think even Mr. 5, when he absorbed his own bomb, it still kind of hurt him. Like, he looked a little disheveled. He didn't look destroyed, but he looked disheveled, And I was just thinking of along those lines. But I could just be overthinking. I tend to do that a lot. But all in all, I think that was a great suggestion, especially if you are able to just absorb fire, lightning, light, impacts, kinetic impacts especially. Then you would be very strong. You would just have to be within blast distance or touch distance to utilize the fruit. And not a bad idea. Alright, so next we have a paramecia type as well, called the armor fruit. Now essentially, I was at first going to make this like a mythical paramecia type, if that's even a thing, or a special paramecia where you turn into a set of haunted armor, hence the thumbnail. But I figured instead this one would be like the same type of paramecia that would apply to like Law and Vegapunk, where you have the right devil fruit with the right user, So that being said, let's say you're like Frankie or a member of anyone who's ever been a smith in their life. I don't really think that's like a hard driven point in One Piece. I don't think we deal with armor because we have hockey. But someone like in Water 7, for example, that might have the know-how to make a set of armor just to be able to have that still in One Piece, like an armor fruit would be broken. So there's either that type of way or a way where you just generate an impenetrable suit of armor, a really strong suit of armor. It comes on, you get the whole set: bracers, greaves, chest piece, helmet, like the gloves, the gauntlets, all that. You don't get a shield, you don't get a sword, but you can coat yourself in a strong suit of armor. Moreover, if you did have hockey or if you did have Tech Eye of the 6 powers, you would be very strong. Both, you would probably be unstoppable. So I would say this one, it's kind of a shorter, less fleshed out idea. You know, like with the absorb fruit, there was a lot to go over and think about. There's just different ways you can take that avenue. But with the armor fruit, it's pretty cut and dry. You either have to know about armor, and you can, you know, touch something and that something turns to armor, like how Kinemon's fruit work. Put a rock on your head, poof, you know. This one might be pick up anything, any inanimate object, and then I'm going to make it into armor. You might spawn like a little hammer, like a Hephaestus hammer or something, and bonk, and it just becomes armor. Or, like I said, you can just spawn a suit of armor on you, and it's just that simple, that cut and dry. Now, maybe the strength of the user reflects the strength of the armor, which honestly, I like that. I like that a lot. So let's say, pre-time skip Kobe, like when we first meet him, he's probably just going to get some basic pewter armor, not the strongest stuff, not the worst stuff. He might even just have wooden armor, however the devil fruit would work that like that. But then you give it to a pre-time skip Garp, pre or post time skip, Garp is strong. Very, very, very strong. Hero of the Navy, probably one of the most prolific hockey users around, especially in his prime. I mean, he's still one of the only people to hit Marco, So that being said, this fruit has two different ways you could look at it. You either create the armor through some sort of generation of touching an inanimate object and turning it into the armor, kind of like a transmuter in Hunter x Hunter with Nen. Or you summon the armor, and it's like a set suit of armor. Or I guess it's three ways. Or like I said just now, the armor is based off your strength as a person. So if you have hockey and all that training for the 6 powers and whatnot, and you're just an overall hard ass, you'll probably summon some really good armor. Again, let me know in the comments if you like that idea, if there's any way to improve it, or if there's some way you would spin it. Thank you. Alright, now for my final devil fruit, I want to talk about a mythical Zoan type devil fruit. Like I said, I don't know if this would be human or cat type, because it's a fusion of both, the Manticore. And a Manticore is a human-faced lion with a scorpion tail or a tail full of venomous spines. So, right away, there's two. As usual, I always try to give as many different types of variants of this devil fruit as possible to, see what you guys think, which way would make the most sense in One Piece or a D&D campaign or any type of setting like that. So, this devil fruit, the Manticore, there's not a lot of concrete information that doesn't require deep reading, and I did not want to do a bunch of deep reading about it because I like the Manticore enough to suggest it, but all the stories I read about it just made it seem like not that intimidating. But okay, so here's a stab at it. So you only have one form in this form, with this devil fruit. You just go from human to Manticore. Now there is a hybrid type of form, like how Marco only transforms his arms and legs into the phoenix pieces. So you could do that. That could be your hybrid form. Maybe you only spawn the scorpion tail. Maybe you only spawn the lion fur and the lion claws. And that way you could kind of trick someone. Oh, I like that a lot, actually. Oh, I like that a lot. That way you can trick someone to thinking, oh no, they got the insect fruit model scorpion. Are scorpions insects? Shit. Whatever. Or, the cat fruit model lion. Next thing you know, it's, no, you dumb bastard. I have the human mythical model Manticore, or cat fruit mythical model Manticore. And the cool thing about the Manticore, other than having the face of a human to kind of mess you up and the strength of a lion, it's said that you can shoot your scorpion tail spine at people or multiple spines at people like a porcupine. That's crazy to me. You have a porcupine quill, tail of quills that you can just shoot them out in any direction. Like I said, give and take whichever way you want. You either have the whole big scorpion tail with a stinger like the top of Daifugo's hair, or you have, your scorpion porcupine thing tail, however to describe it. Because if you Google the story of the Manticore, there's really not a lot to go off of that's for free. And like I said, I wasn't about to buy a whole book just for this video. I might do that in the future, but But right now, that option's not available to me. So, that being said, human fruit. Let's go with human fruit since you have a human face. Model Manticore. The way I genuinely would like it to work, like I just said before, you can either summon the tail or the lion body as like the hybrid form to maybe trick your enemy, and then full Manticore form, you're down on all fours, tail out, lion bodied up, and your face is still there, but you get the mane and the fangs and all that. That would be a dangerous fruit in general. Not only would it strike fear into the hearts of like 90% of your enemies, because remember, the world of One Piece is so big that like most of the Devil Fruit users are found on the Grand Line. And the Grand Line is a very small stretch of the world, and moreover, when you actually sit down and think about who is in the Grand Line, not talking about the denizen citizens of the Grand Line who already live there, just the Devil Fruit users that are active players in the story right now. It's not a lot of people compared to the whole population of the world. So, this is exactly how, like Mr. 2 again, he and the Baroque Works took over Alabasta because there was not a lot of Devil Fruit users, or maybe any, in Alabasta to fight back. It was just them, and they were whooping ass and taking names the whole time until the Straw Hats showed up with Vivi. Now, you yourself could also do something like, take over a small part of an island and be like, hey guys, don't go over there, there's a Manticore, and you're guarding a treasure or something, and next thing you know, people are trying to steal your treasure, you turn into the Manticore and you're the legend yourself. Or the world government had this fruit and they unleash it on the Straw Hats because this is the newest member of CP0 or something like that. This fruit would have limitless purposes as an assassin. I don't really think of anything else you could do with this fruit, honestly, other than guard duty and being an assassin, or both. But it's not to be trifled with. Still, it's still, to me, one of my more favorite ideas I've been thinking of. So that's it for the video. If, like I said, you got any comments, any suggestions, any ways you want to break down a Devil Fruit, any Devil Fruit ideas of your own you want to see me cover in the future, put that down below. I think for my next video, I'm not going to stop doing this series for sure, but for my next video, I'm going to take a little bit of a break from it. I'm going to sit down and buckle down and read a bunch of manga that I've been meaning to. I want to do, a basic discussion for Mashal. I really like that manga, but I haven't read it since like chapter 25, and I would like to get back into it. Hunter x Hunter, I would like to talk about it, but I feel like there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen talking about it, so maybe my input would not be as cared for, but I'm going to give a stab at it anyways. And of course, I have a lot to say about the Chainsaw Man manga. I saw that it was in the top 10 mangas of 2022, and although I like that, I saw that a lot of people were like, wow, it's really low. But look, I'm going to be honest with you. The manga's good and all, and it's very funny, but it follows a very, very cut and dry formula, which the anime breaks up very well. But in the manga, it's problem solved, comedy, chill time, problem solved, comedy, chill time. And I can already see why it placed where it did in the top 10. Not saying it placed low, because to be in the top 10 selling manga of 2022, you're not placing low at all. I'm just saying that it's got a lot of things that make it either your cup of tea or not your cup of tea, and I'd like to break that down in a video. So I've been Merch Hunter Ricky. Those are my 3 Devil Fruits, my plan for the future. Thank you all for your subs, for your likes, for your comments. I very much appreciate it. I love this community, the One Piece community, the manga community. I do also want to talk about comic books in the future because I feel like they could use some love. So that being said, have a good night, everyone. And as always, like and subscribe to be part of the Merch Hunting tribe. And if you need something else to watch, I have another video for you. So thanks. Have a good one.